We are here, week 1, no more 53-man roster, who's making it, who's not. No more preseason game, real stuff, week 1, Jets, Baltimore. We're gonna have preview of the game, we're gonna get you some behind enemy lines and score prediction, all that coming right now. Yo, my name is Sunny. Welcome to szg.sports, and if you love Ravens content, and I know you do, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when I go live, because when I go live, I take phone calls, right? And also, when I throw these videos and I have a behind enemy line, the idea is for you to have a perspective of what another YouTuber from the team that we're playing thinks about the Ravens, thinks about the matchup, right? And we'll have one of that in this episode. Okay, let's get this started. Let's not BS around. Let's go. Our offense against their defense. I usually break it down like that. Special teams, you know what? Special teams, Ravens are basically one every time. So what even bring it, right? But on offense, it's a very interesting matchup. They have Quinn Williams, right? Williams is a really, really good interior D lineman. The other guy, Solomon Thomas, a bust, right? A bust from whatever that draft that they traded with Chicago got Trubisky, they got Solomon Thomas. Not great. The edges. Carl Lawson, they gave a bunch of money 2 years ago. Last year he didn't play. And Jeremy Johnson. I know you guys remember Jeremy Johnson from this year's draft. Okay. I think here's key number 1. I think our O-line is key. And it's probably key in every game, but in this game I don't think Stanley plays. Juwan James scares me. I know a lot of you guys love him. Scare me in the left tackle position. And then if Stanley would have been there, what is our weakest position right now? Left guard. Either Powers or Cleveland. But if Juwan James is there, you have that left side to be your weakest point. That blind side from Lamar Jackson being your weakest point. That scares me a lot. Now, the one thing on the other side is JJ, Barry Johnson, is a rookie. Rookie that slid for particular reason that in Georgia he couldn't make the starting lineup. That's why he went to Florida, and then he balled out over there in Florida State. But then he slid in the draft. I don't know why. But in the preseason, it wasn't like he overwhelmed anybody, right? And rookies tend to be overreactive. I think one of the keys for this Ravens game is that RPO. Or that RR, right? Run or run. Who's going to keep it? Lamar or one of the 3 running backs, Drake, Davis, or JK? Who's going to keep it? At Johnson. My assumption is Johnson's probably going to guess wrong every time. Now you have a run in the second level. Now you're going to... And even Carl Lawson, right? Great player from the Bengals. Went to the Jets. But even him, he hasn't played in a year. This whole concept of giving it up or keeping it from quarterback running back, it's not something you see every day. It's not something that is easy to practice. So you should be able to exploit that. That's my key number 1. Second, also in the running game. That wherever Solomon Thomas is, that should be able for that running game to run in whatever B gap he sits through that. Now, they have Mosley. Mosley's a great tackling machine. You know him from Baltimore. He likes to come down. He likes to clean up. Great linebacker. But if we can get an O-lineman that second level and remove Mosley, now you're poised for a big run. Okay, another thing, talking about Mosley in the linebacking core. Mosley's not the greatest coverage. If a man against any other running backs, I want to see that bulk air in there. Also, I'm expecting the Ravens to go more in the jumbo set. 3 tight ends, right? Boyle's easy to cover, but the other 2, if Mosley's unlikely, if Mosley is on Andrews, I want to see that ball there. Now, if Mosley is on one of those 2, and the safety comes down to help, watch for Bateman over the top or Pro or whoever the other receiver that they have playing wide, right? These are the matchups that we need to keep. Because if we can exploit the matchup on the running side, if we start running, that defense is gonna bring down, right? And now Lamar Jackson's gonna have a bunch of different lanes. And if your tight ends are also there blocking, but then in the same set that you just burned them for 20, the tight ends go boom. One of them stays for blocking, the other two leak out. That's gonna confuse this defense. It's very hard to play against Baltimore. Baltimore starts creating creative in the running game. And again, I think they have two good edges. I think JJ will be a good player eventually, a rookie. And Carl Lawson's a good player, missing a year. Exploit that. Edges, I want to see a lot of RPO to those edges. Lamar keeping and running to the edge, which was in his best year. What he used to do was running to the edge. And why running to the edge was better? Because running to the edge avoids any contact. Once you pass that D-line, your receiver should be blocking that corner. And you can make them miss, or you can just, if the defense collapsing, go out of bounds, no hit. When you go through the middle, you're going to get hit, especially if you don't slide, which Lamar doesn't do. Okay? Another key to the game, don't be afraid to throw to Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner, a great young running cornerback, but he's still young. Bateman, year 2, great route runner. I want to test Sauce. And he might blank Bateman, who knows, but I still want to test him. And again, I want to see these tight ends being involved early in the game. So on offense, how I see it is the Ravens have exploitation on the edges, although their edges are good on the running side. Now, on the passing, on a normal set, on a shotgun, those, especially that left side, needs to help. I'm expecting to see a tight end there to help Juwan James, chipping whoever it is. I'm assuming Carl Lawson will play on the left side if Juwan James is there, and try to create havoc, right, on that left side. That is the weakest position. Now, the other thing, a matchup to watch, Linderbaum against Williams. If Linderbaum holds his own against Williams, a great young interior lineman, he is what we thought he was, right? If he gets exploded, I'm not saying he's going to be a bum. First week of his rookie year, mistakes will be made. Okay, I think this offense has different areas that they can exploit this defense. Their safeties, one of their safety really good, the other safety meh. So I can see them, if they run the ball well, making that safety bite also in those RPOs, and now easy completions to Duvernay Pro or Bateman on the outside. I want to see what Duvernay does. Duvernay for me has been a disappointment. No lie, in here I don't filter anything. Duvernay, I was excited for Duvernay coming out of Texas. Right now, Pro, which I like also coming out of SMU, has surpassed Duvernay in my opinion, right? Bateman obviously is the wide receiver 1, but I think Robinson also has surpassed in a week Duvernay. We shall see with the snaps. But Duvernay, this is your time. You need to take advantage of the snaps. Anyway, let's now flip it to the other side. How's this defense gonna fare against this offense? Well, first of all, our pass rushing, specifically the outside linebacking core, is very, very thin. That's why I think McDonald, even though it's not a guy that I'm expecting with time to blitz a lot, in this game I can see him blitz because you have more of a healthy secondary than you have on the edges, on the outside backers. Now, the one place that our guy Joe Flacco hated all the time was interior pressure. I want to see Calais. I want to see Pierce. I want to see Marabuki. All pressure. They need to be the interior of that Jets O-line. McGovern in the center. They're not great. You need to exploit that matchup. On the outside, let's see what Odafe can do. Their right tackle is better. Left tackle, Beckham, he's out. And they just brought a guy from Seattle. He's pretty good. We'll see. Houston and Odafe, they need to play well, but also, they're human. They're gonna get tired, so that's why I expect them to blitz a little bit and put that timing on Flacco. So when Flacco gets pressure, gets happy feet Flacco, and that's where the interceptions happen. So one of my keys for this defense is not allowing running game. 2.3 a clip at most is what I want to see. Make them one-dimensional. If they run now, Flacco can play action. He loves to play action. And he has dynamic receivers in his core, right? The rookie, he has Moore, and he has Corey Davis. Corey Davis, up and down guy. I think we have secondary to cover them, right? Even if Peters doesn't play, Marlon, Fuller, and I think Pepe could be the three corners that I will tag for this. No, not Pepe. Sorry, Pepe for the slot, but Stevens for the outside. And those three corners, I think they're equipped to handle the wide receiving core of the New York Jets. Now, if Marcus Peters makes it, even more, right? You have more depth. You can even put Marcus Peters there in the pitch count, which is, I think, what they might do is put him there in a pitch count. Also, our safety. You have Clark. I think Clark is playing super motivated this year, but also Williams, big time free agent. I need to see those turnovers. I think there's turnovers to happen here. I think at least one pick we get in this game. So, key to the game, not allowing that pass rush, pressure Flacco through the middle, force at least one pick. I think that is something that this defense can do. Obviously, try not to get beat over the top. That's never good because that's an easy score, a quick score, and Flacco can throw it on the, down the field. So, saying all that, I think our offense against their defense, I will give them the edge. And I think our defense against their offense, I also will give them the edge. I know there's rumor that Zach Wilson might play. I don't think he plays. If he plays, I don't think he's gonna be as mobile. So even more pressure. Make him beat you. And same thing with Flacco. Make him beat you. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna now throw it to behind enemy line so you can see a YouTuber's perspective from the Jets. You can see what he thinks about this game with his score prediction. Okay, guys, as promised, behind enemy lines, we do this every year. We bring somebody from the opposite side. You want to hear what they think about the Ravens, what they think about their team, why they think they're going to win or lose. We'll see. I was talking to Paul before we started here, and I said week one's the hardest. We all think different things. As the season progresses, then we shape the teams, and then it's easier to talk more about our team. With us here, Paul Boyd Green. How are you, Paul?
I'm doing amazing. For Jet fans, and they are more excited for this upcoming season than perhaps any season before. There is a lot of hope for this Jets team who added a lot of talent this offseason. But again, as you just prefaced, what is that all going to mean? I guess we're all going to find out together if it was all for hoopla or there is something tangible here. We're going to find out. But a lot of people are excited, and so am I.
It's funny because I have another channel, as people know, AFC North Talk. We have a channel where I have a Steeler guy, a Bengal guy, and a Cleveland Browns guy.
Yeah.
We all have heard from Jets fans. Oh, we have heard from Jets fans. Jets fans are coming hard.
Yeah.
They're saying they're flipping the AFC North. I'm like, where are these people coming from? I've never heard from the Jets fan. And they're not here coming, you're not pushover. We're going to make it competitive. No, we're going to sweep. We're gonna kick your butt. And I'm like, damn, the confidence level has risen here by levels.
Absolutely. And this is the first time in history, for those who don't know, that the Jets are opening up the entire season to the entire AFC North. They're at home against Baltimore week 1. Week 2, they're at Cleveland. Week 3, they're home for the Super Bowl champion, representative, Cincinnati Bengals at home. And then week 4 at Pittsburgh. So that's never happened in Jets history before, to open up against a division like that. And of course, it's a division that's pretty good. So, there's a lot of talent in the AFC North. But again, it is a palpable energy because I think, and I won't speak for you, but a national perspective is the Jets stink. They've had one winning season in 11 years. They haven't been to the playoffs in 11 years. So when people hear the Jets, they go, LOL, the Jets. Anytime they play them, anytime they're talked about in any sense, that's the narrative. And that's fine. Some Jet fans don't like that. But the fact of the matter is, until you win games, that's not going to change. So if they come, at home, Baltimore's coming in, they come in and punch Baltimore in the beak. And then what the hell? They beat him by whatever the score is. They beat him at all. It's going to surprise some people. The Jets are obviously a heavy underdog in this game. Then people are going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? But until they win, that's what it is. But that's funny. That's good that Jet fans have confidence. It's been a while.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with this. Let's talk about the quarterback. Obviously, your starting quarterback this week is Joe Flacco. Ravens fan knows Joe Flacco. He's whenever Joe Flacco retires, he will become a Ring of Honor here in Baltimore. People love him a lot. Obviously not this week.
Yeah,
We
right.
wish him well. We wish him well, but not against us. So, what do you think, Flacco, with the receiving core? Right, you
Mhm.
receiving tight ends. How do you think the Jets are looking to attack this Baltimore defense?
Yeah, it's a great question because obviously, for those unaware, Zach Wilson in the preseason opener against the Philadelphia Eagles had a bone bruise and a meniscus tear. It was a scare for a small, brief portion of time that we thought it was a torn ACL out for the season. It is not. It was the best case scenario you could have hoped for a non-contact injury like that. So yes, Joe Flacco, of course, way to go, NFL schedule makers, to set up that one. Joe Flacco, Week 1, another revenge game. We got like Russell Wilson Monday Night Football
Yep.
against Seattle. Joe Flacco against the Ravens. Yeah,
And Baker
juicy. And
Mayfield
Baker
against Cleveland.
Mayfield.
Yep.
Right. There you go. So we got a lot of them happening here, which should be a lot of fun. Joe Flacco, I'm going to be honest. When he first came to the Jets, Jet fans went LOL because the Joe Flacco great postseason run with the Ravens that delivered that Super Bowl championship in the Harbaugh Bowl, like, no one remembers that anymore for Joe Flacco. They think it's just some old guy that's been bouncing around as a backup, right? He goes to Denver, backup Jets, backup Eagles for a cup of coffee, backup. And so he was kind of like the same Jet reference I made earlier where it's LOL Jets. But Joe Flacco actually has really impressed a lot of people in camp since Zach Wilson got injured. Obviously, Joe Flacco's been getting all the QB1 reps, and he's looked good in practice, and he's looked good in spots in the preseason. Not most recently, obviously, in that Giants game is his first whack of the pinata, which did not look good. He threw a terrible interception and was just not good at all. But a lot of Jet fans believe, and so do I, quite frankly, that there seems to be a floor with this offense that hasn't been able to be achieved because the Jets have had crappy backup quarterbacks for years. So with the level of talent that's on this team and some of the names Ravens fans should get familiar with it if they're not already, Elijah Moore is a budding star. He's a really talented player. When healthy, he can make plays happen at every level of the field. He's a home run hitter that can score a touchdown anytime he has the ball in his hands. You have Corey Davis, who's this rough, kind of rugged, physically contested catch guy that's coming off a bad year from injuries and drops, quite frankly. Did not perform well. And then the third receiver, the number 10 overall pick of the 2022 NFL draft, and Garrett Wilson, who's dynamic. He's going to have to work his way into the rotation. The other receiver to know is Braxton Berrios, who's kind of a gizmo gadget guy who will get involved. And the Jets completely turned over the tight end room. You may be familiar with that CJ Uzama guy. Yeah, he's in the room. But I think Tyler Conklin actually is going to be tight end 1 for the Jets. He's going to be the receiving guy.
Interesting.
Uzama is going to be more so. He'll be used in run blocking and situationally. The Jets will do 2 tight end sets and things of that nature. And then just to kind of round out the offense, I know we're just talking about pass catchers, but in the backfield, the combination of Michael Carter and Breece Hall. Breece Hall was the first running back selected in the 2022 NFL draft and the highest drafted running back by the Jets in 31 years. And I think that doesn't happen by accident. They plan on using him at every level of the field, and he's an offensive rookie of the year candidate. So the offense is loaded for the Jets, and their offensive line is probably the best offensive line they've had in a decade. Now, they lost Mekhi Becton. He had, unfortunately, a knee fracture, and that's the second straight year that he's had an injury of that note. So the starting offensive line, just to set it up, will be Dwayne Brown, who they added, the Pro Bowler from last year from Seattle. Left guard will be Laken Tomlinson, another Pro Bowler from last year who they added. Center's Connor McGovern. He's average, but to be honest, the play around him should raise his own level of play. Right guard's Elijah Vera Tucker, former first rounder. People think he has all pro potential. And then to round out, right tackle George Fant, who started off at right tackle last year, had to flip because of the Mekhi Becton injury. We thought he was going to be left tackle. Mekhi Becton injury again causes him to flip back to right. He's solid at right. So the offensive line is really good from a starter level. Any injury and that thing could collapse like a used lawn chair. So that's a little bit of a concern there. But overall, the offense looks good, and I think they're going to have a nice floor where they're going to be able to move the ball really against anyone.
Yeah, as I see it, the Jets have a lot of potential guys, right? Like we're seeing Corey Davis for me. And I remember that draft year because I did one of the Ravens to go Corey Davis, and then Tennessee snatched him.
Right.
But Corey Davis, I felt like he has never elevated to what I thought he was going to be when he entered the league. AJ Brown obviously became the wide receiver 1 over there, and Corey Davis was the forgotten 2. And he had one good year, but the rest of the years he was more of an average receiver. We'll see what he does with the Jets. Obviously, the rookie for me, rookies are always an enigma. Right? Ravens fans know that in here I always say Rookies have a lot of potential, but potential means nothing if they don't put it in the field. So it's good that that's why receiver 3 for you guys. So the line for me, it was one of the questions that I was gonna bring.
Yeah.
You replace your left tackle, Beckham, and you're replacing for the guy from Seattle. Do you think this O line is cohesive enough right now at this stage of the game? Because the good thing for them is that is probably the weakest point that the Ravens have, pass rushing. Pass rushing, we're coming with Houston. Good pass rushing in situation, especially as I think good gonna be at the beginning of the season. We'll see as the season progresses. Then we have Odafe Owe, and after that, it dwindles down. Right, we don't have a lot of depth. So that's good for your O line.
Oh, thank goodness. That's great to hear. This is great news. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. I know Odafe always a freak, but the pass rushing, that's a help.
Yeah, our second now where I think this year gonna excel is from that middle D lineman. So when you said McGregor, I remember him from Denver, and Denver fans were not his best.
No, Connor McGovern, no way, no.
McGovern, sorry. How do you think the Jets? Do you think the Jets will keep your running back there for blocking and an occasional blitz? Because as I remember, Flacco was really good with time. And when pressure came, he was Joe Happy Feet Flacco is what I used to call him. And he was like, oh my God, instead of sometimes eating the pass, he would just throw it. And you're like, damn it, why would you do that, Joe? Boom, pick. Marcus Peters, the hope is he's going to play. If he plays, obviously, Marcus Peters has sticky hands. He's a threat to take it to a house. The Ravens also added a bunch of other defensive back. So saying that, how do you think they can handle pressure from the inside if the Ravens bring pressure from the inside?
Yeah, again, that Joe Happy Feet has not gone away with old age. Again, he has the mobility of a parked car. I mean, let's just be honest. He's got concrete blocks on his feet. So Joe Flacco, and which really changes the dynamic of this game because Zach Wilson is so elusive. There were so many almost sacks for Zach Wilson last year where people be in his face and he like jukes him out. He's got great improvisational skills and gets outside the pocket. And that's when he starts going Patrick Mahomes and gets crazy. And that's when defense are like, whoa, we didn't prepare for this. Like, we can't, how can you prepare for kind of the unknown? That part of the offense obviously has been removed with Zach Wilson out for this game and then Joe Flacco stepping in. So that part of it is going to be interesting. Although, weirdly, Joe Flacco in training camp has really gotten outside the pocket a little bit more than I think anyone expected and perhaps anyone wants because that's where he gets into trouble. And then the clock starts speeding up in a bad way, which you saw in that Giants game. And if you guys didn't see the Giants preseason game, there was a moment where Joe Flacco rolls out of the pocket. He's just going, throw. And then it ended up being a pick six. You're like, whoa, that was ugly. Like, what did you see? What happened? What didn't go off in the brain? But that's the part where pressure can get him. And obviously the Giants threw a lot of pressure, both during the joint practice. They had one of those for the first time in 17 years. And then also the game, the exotic blitzes can sometimes get him. I think what the Jets will try to do, although Joe Flacco is a veteran, so he can handle more on his plate, you would think, is that they're going to try to get the ball to his hands quick. Even though the offensive line is really solid. Again, the starters are all really solid. They have a chance to be really good. But I think they're just going to try to ground and pound with Breece Hall. And again, they're also going to mix in Michael Carter. There's going to be like a 50-50, 60-40 split. I think Breece Hall eventually is the stud. He's eventually the bell cow. But ultimately, at first, I think there is going to be a little wiggle certainly between them. But to handle the pressure, Michael Carter is like 5'0" nothing, 100 nothing on a slanted hill. Like how much can he do? And then Breece Hall is a big dude. I mean, he is muscled up. He's got oh yeah, he is a grown man. But of course, he's a rookie, so you're gonna have to test it. And that's how running backs are able to stay on the field for 3 downs if you could pass protect. So he's going to be challenged. Although in situation, it looks like he's had it. But again, until you get to week 1 and you got Odafe Owe showing up, you're like, oh boy, you're going to make some business decisions when you have to make that choice, whether to throw that pass protection or not. That'll be key. And I imagine, and the thing that'll be interesting is, funny enough, I mentioned the Giants, obviously, Wink up there now. So he was throwing those exotic blitz schemes. I am fascinated to see, do the Ravens, are there a lot of, kind of remnants of what Rink made and they're going to do a different version of it? Or do they completely flip it? Like, that's a thing, the unknown for the Jets, obviously, heading into this game. They're not sure what to prepare for from that standpoint of what defense is going to come. But I would imagine they're going to be very creative with the blitz concept, because that secondary to me is what scares me about the Ravens. They've got perhaps the best 3 safeties in the NFL in terms of talent and everything else, with Chuck Clark, Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams, the guy you stole from us, you Raven bastards over there. But I digress. And then all the quarterback play, where you got so much talent, Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. You got all that. He's got the lankiness, and he's a ball hawk, and he's a freak. So the secondary is a part that scares me, but arguably strength on strength from a wide receiver perspective, because the Jets think they got a really cool room with the wide receivers they have. But that's the thing for me, how they handle the blitz. To your point, they've got, again, if Breece Hall's back there, I feel pretty good about the pass protection. But again, as you know, and you guys know, Joe Flacco can have his feathers ruffled, if I may, if you guys can get consistent pressure on him.
Now let's flip it to the other side, right?
Yeah.
Your coach is a defensive-minded coach. Ravens, we talk about the defense. Our offense is, you said that people talk about the Jets, LOL, right? Well, people talk about the Ravens offense as, Lamar Jackson great. After that, it's like, what is this? With your receivers, right?
Yeah, right.
The Ravens are coming with tight end heavy, right? The Ravens are tight end heavy. But I would like to know, what is the expectation as a Jets YouTuber podcaster? What is your expectations that this Jets defense, right? Anchor, I think CJ mostly still the mic over there.
He is.
By our ex-Raven, another ex-Raven,
Yeah.
mostly against this Ravens offense.
Yeah, this is another one where, again, week 1 will be an interesting telltale. There's a ton of talent on this team. The Jets have Carl Lawson, who's almost like a quasi-free agent. Again, another former AFC North guy. He's almost like a quasi-free agent because he ruptured his Achilles last year. Prior to the injury in joint practice against the Green Bay Packers, Carl Lawson looked like the second coming of Lawrence Taylor. And people are like, whoa, look at how great he looks. Ruptured Achilles, we don't see him. He's coming back a year later, and he looks just the same, but we will see during the game. But when you really think about it, you got Carl Lawson. Quinnen Williams is expected to have a breakout year. They drafted Jermaine Johnson in the first round. That's another guy on the defensive line, and they added more. Jacob Martin is in the room. John Franklin Myers, they gave $55 million last year. He's on the defensive line. That's the strength of the team, is their ability to rush the passer, and that, quite frankly, is the backbone of the entire defense. If they can't rush the passer, and they try to do it straight up with a 4-man rush and play coverage, and occasionally on third down, that's where you see man up, exotic blitzes. That's when they get a little crazy. But normally in their base, it's just a 4-man rush, and they try to get there. If the Ravens offensive line is protecting like nobody's business, again, Ronnie Stanley, is he playing in this game? Tyler Linderbaum's a first round. Like, a lot of that could factor in. If Ronnie Stanley's not there, maybe the Jets are licking their chops going, oh, we know where we're going, we know what we're going after here, and they can make some things happen. If not, despite how good the Jets are, again, they added Ahmad Gardner. On one side, that's the highest drafted defensive player by Joe Douglas in the scheme. DJ Reed's the other corner. He's been battling some injuries throughout camp, but he looks like he's going to be good. We'll continue to monitor that. Michael Carter, the second in the slot, has proved to be really good. And at safety, you got one really good safety, Jordan Whitehead, Tampa Bay. He's been a stud. He's been a captain for this team very early on. But the other safety spot is super questionable. LaMarcus Joyner has basically not played football in 2 years. And before the 2 years, he played a different position at slot corner for the Raiders, and that did not go well. So the Jets have a lot of faith in him. We'll see, in fact, in case if that is going to be true or not. But that's the thing where the defense looks good. CJ Mosley, as you mentioned, he's coming off a career year. He had one of the best single season tackling performances in Jets history. He had like 168 tackles. He looks great, and he looks back, and that's great to see for him after the opt-out and then the injury the year before with the Jets. But linebacker play, you could kind of get him. Quan Alexander's looked really good. Quincy Williams is like one of those guys that runs 1,000,000 miles an hour, but he's like an untamed animal. So like you can trick him, you can like bait him, like kind of pump fakes things in the flat, and he'll just run after it like a dog, like ha, 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 and he'll run up and then go, you pump fake son of a, and then you throw it over the top. So he can be tricked, he can be fooled. And CJ Mosley's older, so obviously you could get him sometimes too. And Quan, there was a reason he was a free agent until the end of July. So you know, the linebacking core is really where you can nitpick the Jets and kind of get after them. Again, if you run any running back wheel routes, and specifically, I'm going to be honest, a huge advantage the Ravens are going to have in this game is at tight end. Mark Andrews is arguably the best tight end in all of football. Now, you can make your arguments about Travis Kelce. Isaiah Likely, I loved in the draft, and Ravens always kill every draft. You get Isaiah Likely. I'm like, come on, I love that guy. And he just looks spectacular, sensational in the preseason. So he looks really good, and he could be another weapon for you guys. Again, I asked the same question. Who the hell is playing wide receiver for this team? Ravens seem pretty high on Rashad Bateman, but who else? Who? Where were they? All these wide receivers moving around. Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown. Where the hell were the Ravens and all this? Help a brother out for Lamar Jackson. For Pete's sake, help a brother out over there. But I digress. But for real, again, the defense against the Ravens offense, on paper, Jet fans are feeling optimistic. The coaching staff is feeling optimistic. They also have the worst run defense in all of football. And Lamar Jackson Ravens, the best rush offense in all of football. So it is strength versus weakness. And the Jets didn't do a whole lot just to address the run defense. They let Foley Fatukasi go, $30 million to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they replaced him with checks notes no one. Solomon Thomas, former first-round bust. So, like, they didn't really address it. They improved the talent of the rest of the team, and I think the Jets coaching staff is hoping, like, okay, we improved all this, so by virtue, the run defense has to get better. We will see if that's indeed the case week 1.
Okay, and then let's round it up with this. The
Yes.
Ravens right now are a -6.5 in this game in New York. Obviously, 9/11, big day over there in New York.
Of course,
big day
yes.
for our nation. So obviously, an emotional day for New York.
Yes.
Give me your prediction. What do you think is going to happen in final score?
Yeah, I'm going to be there in person for this one, so that'll be exciting. I will say the one key factor to this game to me is Lamar Jackson. Yeah, hashtag analysis. Nice job, Paul. Former MVP Lamar Jackson is going to be the key to the game. Yeah, way to go, pat me on the back. Thank you so much, everybody. Had a great time. Now, I mean, like, the thing for me, though, with Lamar is I don't buy any of the glorified running back craps, okay? Like, let's put some respect on Lamar Jackson's name for Pete's sake. But I think the absolute key to me is if the Jets defense covers everything. Lamar drops back to pass. He's like, damn it, everything's covered. And he goes, turns the cap backward and goes, okay, I'm going to go crazy. When he starts getting loose and broken plays, right? Like, everything's covered. And you would think in theory, yes, the Jets defense nailed everything perfectly. And then he runs for 30 on a scramble. You're like, son, that is demoralizing for a team. And that's where all of a sudden Jets defenders start looking at each other going, man, that was your cap. No, screw you. That was your cap. And then all hell breaks loose. So that, to me, is where this game is won or lost. If they're able to just play defense and just force Lamar to just try to evaluate what's on the field, and he can't break away and do all his scrambling things that make him so amazing on top of his elite passing, obviously. I don't want that to get lost. He's a phenomenal passer, and he's only getting better. Excuse me. But that's the key to the game. And I don't know. I don't know if it's something in the air. Again, the Ravens are a Super Bowl contender. I want to make that clear. If they won the Super Bowl this year, I wouldn't be surprised. They've got so much talent. I love Harbaugh. He's like a phenomenal coach. And the weird, like, maybe the Ravens will fire him. Like, what? A couple of years ago, within the last couple of years, all that. I'm like, what the hell's going on in Baltimore? But anywho, and again, talent, Harbaugh I love. Lamar Jackson I love. But the Jets have not won. Here's a stat for all your viewers that probably don't know. The Jets have not won a game in the month of September since 2018. That is a real stat. I'm not kidding. They have, and obviously, if you start counting up the math of like 3 or 4 games every month of September, the Jets have obviously gotten off to these terrible starts, 0-3, 0-4, 0-3, and then you're in desperation mode. But like week 5 every year for the last 4 years. And then they have to try to do something crazy, and that's where all these seasons fold before they even start, again, to the LOL Jets comment. But I think September 11th is, again, obviously going to be emotional. It's the first home opener for the Jets in a while. They've been opening the last couple of years on the road in Buffalo and a couple other places. So home opener, September 11th. The palpable energy that's here. I know Zach Wilson not being here, not having your quarterback is a big deal. But I think the Jets can win this game. And I think, as I said, I think the key to it is the Ravens, again, are favored. You mentioned 6.5. The Ravens are favored, should be favored. They're the better football team. But the better football team doesn't always win. We've seen that too often. And week 1, I think, goes back to our original point. Start where we finish. The original point of week 1 is always we have no idea. There have been seasons before, just to go on this weird diatribe real quick, where the Jets like during the preseason a couple years ago, it was like 2012, 2013. They didn't score a lick in the preseason. Everyone said, "Oh wow, this Jets offense sucks." Week 1 against the Bills, they outscored the Bills 48-12, and then people went, "What the hell?" And then they ended up sucking for the rest of the year. But they had this explosion with energy, emotion, week 1, and everything that builds up to be. I have the Jets winning this game 28-26.
Ooh, close game.
I
Close
think we're
game.
getting a close game, and I think that's one of those ones. If you're in the fourth quarter and the Ravens go, "Why the hell is this game close? What is happening here? We're Baltimore. This is the LOL Jets. What's happening here?" And then all of a sudden, that's where again you get a team to believe. They're in the fourth quarter and they're playing again. Again, the Jets right now, until proven otherwise, are in the bottom 5 of every NFL power ranking, and they might as well, for the caption for all those power rankings on ESPN NFL, should just say LOL Jets, because you might as well. And they have to change that narrative. And again, if they win week 1 and then they head into a week 2 road game against Jacoby Brissett, all of a sudden Jet fans are going to go, interesting. And then maybe, again, they haven't won a single September game since 2018. So all of a sudden they're going to be looking their chops thinking, "Oh, what more can we have here?" Ravens are a superstar team, and I want to tell you that to your face, pal, that I think this is going to be a special year for the Ravens, but might get off to a rocky start.
Not a week 1, is what you're saying. Okay. Well, thank you, Paul. Thank you for joining me, guys. If down in the description below, everything for Paul, his YouTube channel, his Twitter handle. So go check him out. Go call him and say, "Hey, you were right, you were wrong." Hey, he will have fun with you guys. Thank you, man. Thank you for always answering. We appreciate you guys. And hey, this is the first Behind Enemy Lines of the year. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, Ravens flock. Appreciate you.
Okay, guys, this is what I'm thinking. This game is going to be a good game. Road team, right? We're the road team. The Jets are at home. September 11, coming with a lot of hype. It's going to be a tough game. I think a lot of Ravens fans think we're just coming here. We're going to smack them. We're going to slap them around. I think this is going to be a game that goes to the fourth quarter, 17-14 Ravens. And at the end, they put another touchdown and they win 24-14 Ravens, which they will cover. Right now, I think last time I checked, the line was 6.5, so they will cover. But not as easy as you would want or you would think. Again, first game. I think overall the showing will be good. But I think the Ravens win by 10, and it will be on a late touchdown. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, IG, szg.sports. Don't forget, I come live. I'm going to be trying to come live after the game, and I'm going to be taking phone calls for you to be part of the conversation. It's going to be a great season, guys. I think it's going to be good. So don't forget, again, hit that bell. Also, my second channel, AFC North Talk, description below. Go check them out. Perspective from all 4 YouTubers. Hey, this has been SCG Sport. I'll see you next time.